Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joyce, and today I woke up this morning and got the bright idea to try a new author. And this author just happens to be known for horror books, which is not my genre. So keep watching to see if this was a big mistake or if it ends up being one of the best decisions of my life, darling. I don't do horror books, but today seemed like a great day to try something new. So we will be reading Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. With all this reading I've been doing lately, I just want to read books at least once by certain authors. James Patterson is one of those authors. I was going to read Obsessed, which is also by James Patterson. However, this book was actually co-written by someone by the name of James O. Bourne. I just felt like it's not the best idea to be introduced to a new author with a book that was co-written by someone else. Like, I want the most authentic experience with this particular author being James Patterson. So that's why I went ahead and got Along Came a Spider. And there's actually an adaptation that came out. If I can find it, we'll watch it, and I think it's gonna be a great time. I'm also strongly considering getting the audiobook. Now, the only reason why I don't normally like to buy both versions of the book, I don't mind getting one version for free, like buy an audio, get the paperback from the library. However, this whole experience will be under $15, which is way more than this book even costs. So they had the book on sale right now on Audible. It's read by Taye Diggs. I love Taye Diggs, and I just think he would be such a great narrator. I didn't even think about that. And we are also going to get into another author that I have not tried yet, but I am very interested to try. The author is Riley Sager. A lot of people speak very highly of his books as well. I am the biggest scaredy cat. I don't know why I thought that this would be a good idea, but I did. Let us get to it and find out if this is going to be a big regret or if this is going to be one of the most amazing experiences of my life, darling. So it is so beautiful out. I decided to get out and get some fresh air, enjoy the sunshine, and get a little vitamin D. Y'all, James is cutting up with the creeps, okay? Like, this book is so creepy. Like, I think I'm only gonna be able to read this book during the day, because if I read it at night, I feel like I'm gonna be so scared. And it was so funny because I asked the lady at the bookstore, I'm like, is it scary? Like, I'm really scary. Like, I'm new to horror. I'm new to James Patterson. Do you think I'll be able to handle this book? And she was like, do you watch the news? And I was like, well, yeah. And then she's like, the news is scarier than this book. And it was so funny. I'm like, yeah, the news can be kind of scary, you know? But, oh, I kind of see why she used the correlation. Child, kids getting abducted. It's a lot going on. Like, it's triggering, it's disturbing, it's unsettling, it's a bit traumatic, it makes you uneasy. It's so funny because I don't watch the news as much because I am a scaredy cat, and it's just so overwhelming, and you just like need to take breaks. And I just feel like this is just as bad as the news, like she said. So I'm like, oh my God. I am absolutely loving the audio. Taye Diggs is doing a fantastic job with the narration. You almost believe that he is Alex Cross, which is really cool. I'm only at page 35, which is chapter 7, and I'm really enjoying the book so far. I do feel like it was a bad decision. I do feel like I'm about to be real scared. I'm hoping that I'm not gonna DNF it just because I'll be so afraid, and I don't know. We'll see, because I do want to knock this out. I'm gonna try to give myself 2 days to do this so that way we can move on to the Riley Sager book. For now, I am at Target. I ordered some headphones. I really wanted like the headphones that go over the ears. They just are such a vibe to me. They're just aesthetically pleasing. I love to listen to audiobooks or music or whatever, and so I just feel like it's something I need. I did do order pickup, but it's not ready yet, so I'm just gonna run in and only get that one thing. Joyce, do not go to the book section. I mean, the book section is like right across from the electronics in this particular Target, so I mean, I have to walk past it anyway. All right, we got our headphones. I'm so proud. We didn't buy a book. Not really sure how these are gonna be, but I love them. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I cannot wait until we get home, cozy up, and put our new headphones on. For now, we need a pedicure because the way that my feet are looking, it's like, girl, paint it yourself or go get them done. So that is what we're about to do. We are going to bring my feet back to life, darling. Yo, he's crazy for writing this. I'm just glad I have therapy on Monday. Let's just say that. I'm glad I have therapy. I'm glad I have therapy. Because the man is a psychopath. Our main character here, I was about to say our main killer. Oh, Lord. But yeah, he a killer and a psychopath. And he basically was a teacher. He's a math teacher at a very prestige private school. And he kidnaps 2 kids. And that's how things get going. And how it all goes down is just so alarming. It's like, how is he able to abduct these children and people don't know who this man is? He wants to be famous, and this is how he's going to get it. The book is very graphic. It's disturbing, and it's all the things that I was afraid that it was going to be. Because a deep breath is needed. This book, this decision that I have made to read this book, it is like 10:47 at night, and you would not believe I am already on like chapter 60. There's only 89 chapters in the book. I can't stop reading it. Like I am extremely hooked. I am in a chokehold. Like, I just need to know what the heck is going to happen. So I actually came really close to DNF in the book. I wasn't able to tolerate the language and the graphics around what happened to like the kids. You know, it's like, it's one thing if it's an adult, but if it comes to a kid, it's a bit too disturbing for me. And I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna give this book about another chapter or 2. And if it's going to be like this, I'm just not gonna be able to read it. But thankfully, that was only a small portion of the book. And I was really thankful for that. I didn't want to be too mentally disturbed. Like, who wants that when they're reading a book? Not me. I mean, I know it's a psychological thriller and all, but nobody wants to be traumatized while they're reading. So thankfully, the book has started to take a shift. He does a fantastic job of getting your heart rate up, making sure that there's a lot of suspense, a lot of intrigue, a lot of thrill, and then he brings you right back down. There's even a small sprinkle, just a pinch of like romance there, which is really nice, and I really appreciate that. It just gives you something else to focus on and just, again, kind of calm the psyche. I'm not gonna watch the movie. I'm not brave enough to do that right now. I just don't need the visual. Like, you can picture it enough in your mind. I don't need to see the adaptation. I just don't need to see it right now. This book is great storytelling. It is the definition of a psychological thriller. You get the perfect balance of mystery, suspense, and intrigue. Such a well-rounded story. It is so plot-driven, but you also get the opportunity to fall in love with our character, Alex Cross. I mean, how can you not? You have compassion for him, and he's just very likable, and he's also very interesting. I am a person who enjoys getting in someone else's mind. I like to know why. Why are you that way? Let me get up in there, you know, let me help you out with that. But anyway, Alex Cross is a psychologist, and he obviously loves to get inside someone's mind, which is like the perfect pairing. The fact that he's a psychologist, and then you have our main character, Gary, who's interesting. I just still am trying to figure out how James wrote this character. And speaking of writing characters, I'm still processing how I feel about Alex Cross being black. The fact that James Patterson is a white man writing this black character. At first, it wouldn't bother me, right? It doesn't seem like a big deal. I don't think it is a big deal. That's why I said I'm not offended or anything. I'm just processing. I'm processing, and you need to process to see how you feel about things. So there's racism that's discussed in the book. There are stereotypes that are discussed in the book. The N-word is used in the book. And so I think it was the use of the N-word that got me feeling like, how do I feel about all this? Maybe it's because of the area that they live in, and maybe that's why he's so successful, because he's able to say things, do things, go places, and explore areas that other authors are not willing to go into. So I don't know. I really appreciate how the book shifts from so much horror more so to the good storytelling, and then we get to understand why our main character Gary Sanji is the way that he is, and he's basically that way as a result of a lot of childhood trauma. So like I've already said, Gary ends up kidnapping Maggie, who is the daughter of a very wealthy family. He chooses Maggie because ransom, obviously, but it was so ironic that he wanted Alex to bring the ransom money, and I'm just still like, why? Alex is even still like, why? Like, I'm 73 chapters in, I think. Yeah, I'm like 73 chapters in, and we still don't know why. So I absolutely love the level of suspense that he has created around that particular scenario. I don't know if there's even going to be an answer as to why so late in the book. Maybe Gary just likes him, I don't know, but still, in order for him to even like him, he would have needed to know about him, and that's Alex's whole thing, is like, how do you even know me? Like, when did we cross paths? But clearly he's a psychopath, and so obviously he probably was just stalking him or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, hopefully we are able to find out. Chapter 73 just got so intense. That's why I needed to pause and just give you guys an update. So basically, Gary Sanji might suffer from multiple personality disorder, or he might just be a psychopath. Everyone's still just trying to figure it out. The story is just so engrossing. Like, how can you not get engrossed in this story? And I really like stories too that have a way of making you have a little ounce of compassion for the bad guy. Clearly, everything that he did, it's raps for him. You don't have that much compassion for him. Like, he is just a terrible person. However, you do still have a little bit of compassion. Like, it's so crazy how, you know, James Patterson was able to do that to the world, had a little compassion for him, and then even you as a reader, just because of everything that he's gone through and his reasonings even as to why he does what he does. It's a very interesting book. I'm still trying to decide, was it a bad decision or not? Because I woke up and I was definitely looking over my shoulders, looking in the pantry, and I'm just like, oh my God, is Gary up in here or what? Oh my God, Mikey scared the crap out of me.
He's like, you can't read a book when there's people in the house.
Oh my God, you guys!
And again, you can read it well, because that's even worse.
Oh my God, I'm so paranoid. Oh my God, I have to come in here and talk to you guys because what? Because what? Because what? Listen, okay, my mind is blown. That was one heck of a ride. The narration was perfect. Shout out to Tay Diggs. He did a fantastic job narrating this book, like the way that his voice changes. And it's so funny because I'll listen to my audiobooks at a much faster pace when I'm reading because I read faster than the narrator. And so it just got really intense because he was reading fast, I was reading fast. The content was like making my heart palpitate. It was just a lot going on. So I was like, oh my God, what an experience. Even like towards the end of the book, it was like, you know, intensifying music. It was just a lot and it was epic. This 5-star read, okay? Like It was definitely a 5-star read. I cannot believe, darling, that I read a horror book. I can't. I do have some issues now after reading it, but it's fine. I have therapy in 2 days, so it's going to be just fine. And it's a work of fiction, a brilliant work of fiction. I can see why it was adapted into a film. There is so much to work with here. I can see why he is one of the most successful authors in the world. It ended epically. It ended exactly how you would want it to end as the reader. Everything was wrapped up perfect. It was just great. It was such a great book. I am just blown away. You got horror, you had some romance, it was a spice scene, it's thrilling, it challenges you to think and see people differently. Then you're mad, you're heartbroken. Like, the amount of emotions that you go through while reading this book is just... I'm just saying, if you don't read it, make sure you have a therapist, because, you know, a talking session is going to be needed. Let's just say that. And then it was just so good knowing what happened to Maggie, because for the longest time in the book, you know, we just didn't know. And it's more so like the reader knows, but Detective Cross doesn't know. So it was so wonderful the way that he ended up finding out. And it's just such a brilliant story. You fall in love with him as a character. I mean, he's navigating so much grief. He lives in a time where, you know, cases aren't fair, but we actually still see that to this day. They're like children, black children, if they go missing, it's just not as much publicity as opposed to like when white kids go missing or if they're murdered and things like that. It's like headlines and, you know, people are still trying to figure things out. So I even like how that was addressed in the book. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in. There is no way that I am about to read Riley's book. I'm just not. I can't go into something else after this. This was brilliant and beautiful and disturbing and just all the things. What a psychological thrill. What a ride. Well, so I did it. I read my first James Patterson book. I can't say that I'm hooked, but I can't say that I'm not. Like, I don't think that I can handle reading the entire series, but this was so good. This is like a really good dessert that you just need a little bit more of. And so once I gather myself, I could totally see me reading one again. I am so glad that I read this book. I hope that this video has encouraged you to try something new, step out of your comfort zone, read something that you may have thought you couldn't handle, and maybe you end up finding out it's like a beautiful work of fiction and you really just need to read it. So that is more than enough for today's video. I'm sure you would agree. Now I am going to just find me the happiest, most lighthearted, most loving, palate cleansing book that I have right now on my bookshelf, and I'm just gonna indulge in that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.